Greetings, everyone. This is Payman, host of the Leaders What podcast. Today, I have a return of one of my very best friends that I met over the last 3 years on my podcast, my dear friend Camille. She's from New York City. We have quite a few things in common. Most importantly, we share the same birthday, so that's something that will always be make her special for me. And yeah, we had a wonderful conversation just last week, catching up.
Right.
And yeah, she's doing some amazing things. She's been an amazing leader in her community. And I just found out, I didn't know after knowing her for 3 years, that she's a professor teacher, MBA professor teaching global business strategy at Caldwell University, just outside of New York City. I was blown away. So learning new things every day. That's amazing. I'm not surprised because she's a super bright and very successful businesswoman already. So yeah, she's also. I asked her, so how has your business evolved since we first talked about what 2, 3 years ago? She said, well, she's a dream developer, so that's amazing. We're gonna unpack all of that. Plus, she's a publisher. She's published, I don't know, countless books, enough to fill all the libraries and bookstores in New York City. So that's the attention to set to the universe. So, anyways, I'm really delighted to have her back here. Camille, my dear friend, welcome back to the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you. What an amazing introduction.
Well, pleasure on mine. That's the least I can do. So, speaking of that, for people who don't know you, over and beyond what I just said, we're gonna talk about your business and all that in a moment. But who's Camille as a person, as a woman, and as a human being?
Oh, so many, just a lover of humans and life and so open-hearted. And I believe everyone has a gift that they bring to the world.
Absolutely.
So part of my mission is to help you bring your gift to the world. I don't care
Mhm.
what it is. The world needs it. Like it needs each one of us and each one of our gifts.
Absolutely.
So that's what I love. And my passion is really helping people develop their dreams. That's why I say dream developer, because
Mhm.
everyone has some type of dream. If it's
Oh yeah.
traveling or owning a fancy car or, just living life in a lot of flow, all of that can happen. All of it can happen. It's just a matter of our belief system and what we're telling ourselves every single day. So I help people develop those dreams into a business, right? Whatever their genius is, into a business that produces massive wealth. Because I really believe that when you produce wealth, that's how you impact the world. You actually need the money to impact the world. So let's give you that.
Absolutely love that. One of the most powerful lessons and realization I came across over the last few years is the most important person in your life is yourself. And that's not being selfish. That's being very altruistic because you need to be the best version of you so you can be of value, of impact to others. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And gifts. I mean, life is all about the gift. Why do we call present present? Because every moment is a present. And the fact that we've
Beautiful.
all made it this far in life, we all have been blessed with incredible, gifts, lessons, wisdom, and all that. So I'm excited. And speaking of gifts, this is precisely the theme of my volume number 2, which is launching on January 31st. What is your gift, and how are you sharing it around you and around the world? So you're speaking my language, my friend. So it's all about gifts. So tell us, what is your gift, Camille?
My gift is helping recognize and honor other people's gifts
Mm,
and helping them get on a bigger stage. Because I think so many people play it small in the world, right? That if we just played a little bigger and believed in ourselves and had that type of confidence, we could all play a bigger game. We could all get more. It's just the stories we tell ourselves. So I'd
oh,
like to think that my gift is the energy and confidence that I give others. And usually people in my circle feel really good. So
mhm.
I
One
want
thing,
them to go out there.
absolutely. Yeah, that is so true, is that people play small, they don't believe in themselves. I have an academy, and at the end of each class they run, I host a graduation party. And I asked them, we celebrate and all that, but then I asked them one question: what was holding you back from launching your podcast? And number one reason, each time I hear it, it breaks my heart, because I was feeling the same as, who's going to listen to me? I'm a nobody. My story doesn't matter. My voice doesn't matter. I have no audience. I'm not a celebrity. I even heard people say I'm not the best looker. For me, one of the things that was holding me back is because I was painfully shy. You will not believe it, the complete opposite of what I am now. People that knew me from before say, "Is that you? What happened to you? Did you sell your soul to the devil or something?" I said, "No, absolutely not." And this is what's really holding people back. And for me, I was, even because I was so painfully shy, I was so at such a low self-esteem, because also I was very camera self-conscious, because hey, I have a big nose, I have no hair, so I didn't want to get on camera. But then I realized it's not about me. It's about my message, my gifts, my wisdom. And this is what people need to understand, because when I bring people on my podcast to share their story, if your Camille, your story can inspire just one person, and that person goes on to inspire another person, and so on and so forth, then we can create a ripple effect around the world. We're going to change
Yes.
frequency, vibration, energy. This is my purpose. This is what I first started, my mission when I started the podcast, to inspire entrepreneurs to do good, and it hasn't changed. So
Yeah.
you're speaking my language, and yeah, let's keep continue doing this. And tell us more about what's cooking for you. What are you working on? What's how are you making people share their gift around you and around the world?
Yes. So I have my global community that there's a whole free version. So it's free networking, free master classes. So I teach all the time. I love to teach. And if that's, how you can afford me to be in my free program, I'm good with that, because every little bit helps. And if that helps you get out there a little better or tweak whatever you can do in the world, I'm good with that. So we have a whole free side to my membership. Of course, there's premium and VIP levels where people can work with me on strategy. I do not do long-term coaching. I more help people design their business.
Mm,
And the strategy is multifaceted, right? It's your message, it's your brand, it's how you're attracting people, it's your packages, it's what you're doing, it's how you're showing up, it's how much you're working, it's all of it. So I more or less develop the business model with people based on your dreams. So I always start with, what's your ultimate dream? Where do you see yourself?
mm.
I have a vision board that I keep here of all the countries I want to visit and all the things I want
Wow.
to do. And that's what keeps me going. So when I help other people, I need to know their dreams. So it's part of their business plan. It's part of
Mhm,
your everyday, because you can't run a marathon without a pair of sneakers. And if
mhm,
that's your first step, that's your first step, right? You just have to do small baby steps towards something you want in the world. So you just have to start
mm.
somewhere. So that's my biggest thing. I talk a lot about financial abundance and building wealth, because so many people that are heart-centered, the people you attract as well, don't want to charge people for their services. They're like, well, this is my gift. I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I got a gift too, but guess what? I gotta feed my family and get my kids through college, right? So
Yeah.
I have dreams and people pay for them. Um, and that's what I teach my clients. I'm also in the process of writing my third book of my Ultimate Guide series. It's a 3-part series, so I'm finishing the series right now. They're all called the Ultimate Guide. The first one was the Ultimate Guide to Creating Your Soul Aligned Business. It's how are
Mm,
you creating a business in alignment with your heart and who you are and your soul. The second one is the Ultimate Guide to Becoming a Successful Soul Professional. A soul professional is someone who lives in a higher vibration, has an alternative approach to business, and is here to help repair the world. And it's really not about having a hobby. You have to be successful to make impact.
oh, absolutely.
So the second book is about, changing your mindset to a place of success. And the third book, which is I'm writing right now, is called The Ultimate Guide to Leaving Your Legacy. And it's really about leadership. And if you were to die today, what is the legacy that you left in the world? Where did you lead people? How will you be remembered? Because I think that's the three really important parts to
Mm.
building a business. So it's a 3-part series, and I'm finishing that up right now.
When is that book coming out?
That'll come out in September.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
this your book or is this a multi-authored book?
It's multi-authored. All three of them are
Okay.
multi-authored. I do the whole beginning section
Mm,
and I write 2 chapters, the first one and the last one, and the whole conclusion and ending. So you get a lot of me and my stories, but the in-betweens are stories from other people.
mm,
And every single person leaves a strategy that has helped them. So it's their personal story and then a strategy.
mm. I see. Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. How did you get into the world of publishing?
So it was completely by mistake. I did not at any time consider myself a writer. In fact, I always said I hated writing, I hated writing, I hated writing. And I just happened to be connected with the publisher I ultimately went with. Well, not even ultimately, I didn't interview anyone else. I was on a call. It was just like a discovery, a one-on-one, not
Mm,
to publish a book. It was not an interview. It was not something I was looking for, but I just happened to be talking to this person. And she told me that she did these multi-authored books. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I could totally get 25 people together, you know? So, and I was like, I've always been so afraid to write. And she's like, well, we provide writing coaches. We do it all for you. I'm not gonna let your stuff get out there that's not good. And by the time that call ended, I was like, I want to write a book. I want to do this. And
mm,
that was not the intention of the call. She had never sold to me at any time. I was just like, you know what? It was just divine timing.
absolutely.
And right before we were supposed to do it, though, I almost backed out. And I was like,
Mm,
I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm ready. And she jumped on a call with me and she's like, you're ready.
mm,
Like, let's get your word out there. And it ended up being, the first book was a huge success and so much fun to do. So much fun. And I
mm,
feel like for the first time I really told my story of why I created my business, things I went through before that, my past life that brought me to that moment of creating what I've created in the world. And it was a big moment for me to get it out there. So now I own it and it allowed me to play a little bigger because I owned who I was.
mm,
So it was big. And in the second book, I talked a lot about all the mistakes I made along the way. Like a lot of people just look at successful people and they're like, wow, they did it overnight. It was so easy for them. Look at them flow. And especially now, I think you go on Facebook or social media and everyone's showing their stuff and looking so successful, and they're really not that successful.
mm,
You'd be amazed at how many people are not successful
mhm,
and not good at what they do. So I wrote a book celebrating successful people, but also saying some major mistakes I've made along the way, things that put me in debt, really bad financial decisions in my business. Because I thought it was important to know that we all make mistakes. We all, like, that's part of your growth. The thing
mhm.
is that you have to learn from your failures. I always call it failing forward.
Absolutely.
As
Very,
long as you got a lesson from it and you're better today,
that's it.
then that's that's what that's all about. So I think that's a really important business advice and how people move forward. We all fail. Success does not come overnight for anybody.
Now, success is like the tip of the iceberg. They don't see all the hard work, the blood,
Yes.
sweat, and tears, all those sleepless nights, all those challenges, all those people saying no, all those rejections, all the time seeing your savings account dangerously going low, and you're wondering how the hell I'm gonna keep going, and then you keep pushing, and by the miracle, everything at the last minute, just like in the movies, last minute, just like in the video games, you're about to die, your energy bar is low, and then all of a sudden you get the mushroom, the magic mushroom brings you back up. Yeah, just like in Mario Bros, you know. This is beautiful.
Exactly.
And life and in business, it's important to know what to do, but what's 10 times more important is knowing what not to do. And this is what mistakes are about. What is an expert? An expert is someone that's mastered all the different ways to fail. Ultimately,
Yeah.
the more you fail, the more
Yeah.
successful you become because you understand again not only what works, but most importantly, what not doesn't work.
Yeah, that's
You
a good
just
way of
have to
saying it.
keep going, keep going, keep going, never giving up. Just like I was sharing the example last night of me being in a call with my own coach. It started 10 a.m. Eastern. For me, it's 10 o'clock here in Asia. And by 11 o'clock, I had shut down my microphone and my camera because I was like, I didn't want them to hear me snort, you know? And I told you, I even wrote the message, hey guys, I'm going to jump off. Great session. I got to go. I wrote it in the chat. I was just about to press, and my coach just asked a question. Hey, would like to get some growth tips. And I just erased it. I put growth and just put me on the spot to say, hey, let's talk. And it was 11:30, and we stayed until 1 o'clock. So an hour and a half just put me on the spot, helping me. And that's what the goal was. And this is, again, never give up. Just when you're about to give up, that's when you need to keep going, because as the saying says, your dream life starts just outside of your comfort zone. So
Absolutely.
no, I've seen that, I've experienced that countless times. And yeah. Speaking of that, tell us more about your dream developer strategy.
My dream strategies.
How do you help
A
people?
developer, dream
Yeah.
developer. Well, like I said, it really starts with what is your ultimate dream. So many times people stack their dreams, like when I'm successful, I will, travel, or when I have enough money, I'll buy that new car, or when I feel good about myself, or when I find the greatest guy, I'll do this, or partner, you know what I mean? And it's called dream stacking.
Mm,
And I try to always break that down and just say that you have to take baby steps towards anything in life, right? And all of those little things are important, but you need money for them.
absolutely.
Right. When I wanted to start traveling, I always said I want to travel, I want to travel, I want to travel. I originally wanted to move to Italy, but
Wow.
I think I'm going to pick a different country now. But now
Gotta
I'm
make
at a place where, you know what, I can just do um guest professorships pretty much anywhere in the world.
mm,
I teach global business, right? So that's my next thing. Like just do 3-month stints in different places
that's
of the
it.
world. I think that would be so much fun. So that's like my new goal. But originally I just really wanted to travel, and I didn't have a lot of money to do it. I'm putting 3 kids through college. Um and but I had to start in a direction.
Mm,
So the first thing I had to do was like, let me start with day trips. Let me start seeing what's around me here. I live in the US. So let me see what that's like. And then it went from that to like weekend trips, to long weekend trips, to total road trips. I love driving, by the way. And my daughter and I, jumping in the car and going to, let's see what Nashville's like, right? But we drove and we stopped in like 8 states along the way.
wow.
And so I started to do this, and then it became like a couple times a year to every single month. Every single
Beautiful.
month I was doing something. And then I got to every other month I was doing something international.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. So I had to grow, but now, last year I was in London, which I absolutely love. I spent some time in Italy. This year I'm doing a whole tour from Budapest through Prague
Beautiful.
and 5 countries. So, but it was gradual, and it started with just getting in my car and having a day trip because that's what I could afford. But the point is that you have to take baby steps towards your dreams. It's just
Exactly.
like when I wanted to be a professor, because my goal was always I wanted to retire, and I was like, I'll just teach college. Like that's what I'll
Hmm.
do. Um and then I reached a point a little while ago and said, you know what? I'm getting older. I better start getting my foot in that door, right? Like I have to get my foot in that door. What's it going to take? So I had to sit down, and I actually did it on vacation. I brought my computer and I started to put together a resume and started to prove. And then I didn't even know this package that you have to put together to be a professional. Like it's a package.
Mm,
And I had to get people to write letters on my behalf and
wow.
all of this stuff. Um, but then I got the package together and I was like, huh, this wasn't so bad. Like it took a while, It took a couple weeks to get the whole package together. You gotta get fingerprinted, like this whole thing, right?
Oh, wow.
And then I applied to, I think it was 24 positions, and I heard nothing.
Mm,
And I finally had one university that called me, and they're like, they had a policy, and this is a university I ended up working for, that they had a policy that they wanted their professors to actually be in the field that they taught,
that's good.
right? They said, we don't want people teaching from textbooks. We
Mm,
want
that's good to know.
actual people that have been in the field that are teaching our people. And I was like, oh my God, that's so who I am. And it just resonated. And I actually got my offer in my first interview.
Beautiful.
We weren't on the
That should
phone
be
10 minutes and I got the offer. So
nice.
it was, and
Nice.
it worked. And
Mm,
everything about this university just works for me. But that's the way universe works, right?
mm,
But 24 resumes went out. Right?
you
A
know,
months to put the package together. Like it was a long thing. But even when I was getting the rejections or not being, because everyone wanted someone who had already done it with experience, right? And you can't get the
mhm,
experience if someone allows you the experience, right? Now it's easy. Now people call all the time and I'm getting like, do you want to work here? Or do you want to work here? Because I have the experience.
that's exactly it.
Um,
Yeah.
right. But the whole point was it was my dream to do this in retirement. So I was like, I have to start with one class a week. One
Mm,
class a week. Let me make sure I like it. Let me make sure it's paired for me well. Um, and that is something towards my dream, right? And it's going to open a whole bunch of other doors for me. It
sure.
has already, right?
Hmm.
But that's what I mean when you have to start working towards your dream. I don't care what your dream is. I
So
don't care what it is.
that's beautiful. A couple of things. We're going to talk about the travel aspect in a moment because that's something I'm very passionate, but also would like to get your feedback on. So you've been an online coach for a while. Now you're teaching at university at the MBA level. How different is it from teaching a class for your own business online to versus teaching an actual class at a university?
The only difference, because I'm an interactive teacher,
Mm.
um, the only difference that I see is that I have to actually grade people at university.
You actually go in person or do you do it online?
Yes. No, I do it in person at
Okay.
university. I in this in the fall or summer, I'll probably take some remote classes, but only if I can meet with students online. There
Mm.
are remote classes where you actually don't know your students at all. You're just grading tests and stuff. I won't do those classes
Yeah.
because the whole reason I teach is to be an inspiration to the younger
Mm.
generation. That's why I teach. And just grading their papers, I'm not an inspiration at all. But I teach the same way. So even in university, I put everyone in a circle and I run it like I'm a CEO of a company and you're my staff. So what are you bringing me?
Mm.
How are you doing the case analysis? How are we doing the finances? What is your opinion about this? And we run it like a mastermind.
Exactly.
So, and it's kind of how I've always taught and how I've always trained, which I've done for decades. So,
Mm.
so I teach exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. The only difference is most of my students don't have a lot of experience in business
Mm.
and I have to grade them,
Mm.
which is the part I hate. But it's really about building relationships. That's
That's
all
it.
business is. If you can't build relationships, it's all who you know. Everything in life is who you know. Everything.
That's exactly it. And this is what I always keep saying. Business is not a numbers game. Sure, numbers matter, but ultimately it's a relationship nurturing process. This is what it's all about. And it's really interesting to see the similarities, the differences between teaching and coaching online and coaching and sorry, teaching in person. So from your students, your students in at university, did you notice the same mental limiting blocks, same things that you noticed from your regular clients, like for example, who am I? My voice doesn't matter,
No,
my state doesn't matter, they're playing small. Or these are people
no.
with really big egos, big ambitions, big goals, and all that.
So one of the reasons I wanted to start teaching at university is because I saw a paradigm shift in this younger generation and I wanted to be a part of it.
Mm,
I saw them coming in and saying, I'm not going to work for a company. I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
mm,
Like they're not even playing the game. A lot of the people I work with built companies, built things, had successful careers. They're in their mid 50s and they're like, this doesn't make my heart sing. And
mm,
then they come to me, right? Um, Now I'm starting to see people under 30 just go, I'm not even going that route. I'm just going to be a creator. I'm just going to do this, right? And they have the luxury of the internet,
mm-hmm.
right? I didn't even have that in grad school. Like the internet
Absolutely.
was not invented. Okay. It's a very different world that I
Oh
grew
yeah.
up in.
Oh yeah.
But today we have people that have grown up in a global world because of the internet. So I love teaching global strategy and global relationships and this global world because that really is the future. People aren't going to go to brick and mortar companies and work for people.
No.
The reason I love the younger generation is because they don't have the mental blocks
Mm,
that my generation had,
yeah.
right? So, I find it amazing to watch these kids and they just really believe that they can be anything, which I think is a lot different than when I got out of school. I had a lot of hopes. Well, I had a lot of hopes and dreams when I was coming out of my MBA program, but I didn't have a role model that was a
Mm-hmm.
woman to see.
Well,
Right. So it was much different. These kids have role models. Like my three girls saw their mother work their whole life. My mother didn't. Right. So it's a very
mm.
different world. So no, a lot of people believe that they could be anything. Um so so it'll be interesting.
Look at all these opportunities that the internet has opened up. Like even when I went to college universities, you know, it wasn't an option to just take your laptop, travel, build your business, and live the laptop lifestyle. That wasn't an option.
Yeah.
And now it's, especially the new generation, they're growing up with this. They're growing up with becoming YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram, influencers and all that. Even though there's a lot of people that rub me off the wrong way and claim to be influencers, but there's some really good legit ones too, that was an option back then. Back then you had to go to college, university, study something or get to a trade or study on
You don't have to
business.
do any of it
Yeah.
now.
You couldn't pack up, take your laptop, live off of your backpack and just
Yeah.
travel. I've been doing for the past few years.
Yeah.
So
Formal education actually isn't that important anymore. I think, and I'm saying that as a professor and a parent who made her
absolutely.
kids go to college. I used to, when they were still in high school, I told them they all had to have master's degrees. And as they all graduated, I'm like, don't even bother. I was like,
No.
it's just such a waste of your money and time. I
Nowadays, the
was
only
like,
time university makes sense is if you're dead set on becoming something that you need actual accreditation, like law, finance, medicine, something that you need actual. Other than that, if you're just going to study, say, basket weaving or Bachelor of Arts, don't waste your time. If I were in power, I would make it mandatory for every high school student to take 2 years off, not allow them to go to university right away. Go travel, go see the world, go grow up,
yeah,
go find yourself. And then take, I don't know how much university costs nowadays, but when I was going in Toronto back in 2006, 2007, it was like 10, $15,000 per semester. And that's Canadian dollars. So I don't even dare think how much is it
yeah.
now. So
Yeah,
instead of spending
it,
$30,000 for 1 year, take 20,000, 15,000, go travel for a year, go learn a skill, high income skill, start a business, e-commerce, copywriting, whatever it is. Worst comes to worst, you'll have the time of your life, you grow up, but what if it works? You find
Yeah.
something, become good, then your life is going to be completely different.
Yeah. I think everything's changing, but you
Mm,
still need to be educated. You still need to
mm,
learn. I just
absolutely.
don't think it has to be formal,
Yeah.
right? There's so much on the internet right now. There is so much you could learn,
Mm.
right? I've even thought of putting together my own, like, I can't call it an MBA, e-
Why not?
here's
As long as,
everything you need to know. I teach it anyway.
the
Like,
only MBA that matters is a massive bank account. And for that, you don't need, as long as you've done it, you mastered it. Hey, I'll take this over a piece of paper. I have my college diploma. It's the most expensive and useless piece of paper. I've never used it one single day of my life.
I have mine right.
See?
I will say at my age, my MBA opened more doors for me than ever, but it was a
Yes.
much different degree when I got it.
A different
When
world.
I got it was back, when did I start it? It was the early 90s. I started 1990s. I started my MBA. I graduated in 95. So I probably
Mm.
started like 92 or something because I went part-time. But at that time, you had to work a year or two and apply and get corporate sponsors. Like an MBA degree was so hard to get. It was also a terminal degree. It's
Wow.
no longer like that. People just come out of school and they go right into their MBA with no experience at all. So I feel like it's a very different degree. But when I had it, it opened more doors for me than I could have ever imagined.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
but it's a much different world today.
Absolutely. One thing that you mentioned that I'm glad to hear that universities are making that a requirement is they're looking for teachers who actually are going through it because, and that's a complaint I heard from many people, even me when I was going to college in my time. I remember one marketing teacher. This guy was literally teaching from the textbook. And why
Yeah,
would I pay all this money to learn from someone was getting paid $50,000 a year, was never built a business? You know what I mean? That's not the right
exactly.
place to be. I'd rather take
Exactly.
I'd rather take $10,000, give it to an actual coach that's doing it day in, day out, and learn directly from him or from her, as opposed to
Exactly.
some guy or whatever that's just from a book. No, and that's changing. People are waking up to that, and I was so happy when you said in the beginning that your university actually wanted someone that's actually doing it and did it, and not just from a textbook.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what my university has chosen to do. And there are other universities that I would not work for because they
Mhm.
didn't really honor that I've done it before, you know. But I
Absolutely.
really want to specialize. Well, I love global business strategy, but entrepreneurship is really
Mm.
that's my love.
Oh,
Just to
absolutely.
really encourage people to do things. Because when I went to my MBA, you know, they teach you to be a CEO of like, you know, we studied McDonald's and Disney and some of those big ones. Today, my textbook studies, you know, like, well, we still study Macy's, Coca-Cola, Tesla. We still study some of the older companies, which is really nice.
You know what would be cool is if either you, me, or someone else, just putting it out in the universe, were to create our own MBA, and the textbook would be about case studying each other. Like, hey, Camille, how do you build your business? Hey, Payman, hey, Tyson, how did you build it? Let's study it.
Yeah,
Let's, that would be the ultimate because these are people not only that that can relate, but people have actually been doing it from scratch, you know?
right. Right. They're different. They're not global companies
Yeah,
in that same, you know, those global brands in the same way, but I feel like dreams are changing,
absolutely.
right? People like their own brands now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my story. I was about to go to law school back in 2007, sent my application, and then one book changed my trajectory, which was the 4 work week. To the dismay and horror of my parents, I decided not to send my application. Instead, started my first online business. And I took off to Thailand for my first mini retirement. They were horrified. They thought I was going crazy. I lost my marbles. They said, "You will be back. You will be back." And then I will tell you, I told you. And yes, I came back because I was too young. I partied too much. I didn't spend too much on business, but hey, it was still an amazing experience. I learned so much that I would have probably not learned from any MBAs. and that opened the world to me. That showed me how life is to be. And speaking of that, once I've had a taste, even though I've been traveling all my life, I was born in a family of travelers. Once I started experiencing life outside of the matrix, so to speak, there was no going back. First place I went 2005, right after college, I went to Brazil. Incredible, incredible. And then Asia in 2010, and I've been living as an expat ever since. Have you been to Asia?
No, but it's on my, after speaking to you the other night, now it's on, I was pulling out my maps, I'm pulling out, I was Googling stuff. I was like, I'm ready.
If I may make a suggestion, look into
I just
Malaysia.
want to do so much. Like I want to do
Yeah,
so much, and there's so many places I want to
yeah.
go. That's where I find it hard. But I feel like I could jump on a plane every 60 days or so.
That's exactly what I've been living here since, I left Canada as soon as the borders reopened on November 1st, 2022. I went to Italy, to Milano for 10 days. Then I went to Thailand for 2 months. Then I went to Malaysia, was supposed to be for a month. As soon as I saw the swimming pool of the place, the Airbnb I booked just for 1 week, I absolutely fell in love, and I ended up staying in this building for 6 months, you know? And after that, went back home in Canada in mid-April to renew my passport. I had my new 10-year passport on the first Monday of June. The very next day, I booked a one-way ticket back to Malaysia. Again, the summer in Malaysia, and then Philippines in September. And since mid-September, I've been here in Vietnam on the beach. So yeah, every 3 months, go explore a new place. That's
That's
as
that's
long as
actually how
yeah,
I like to do it. Or just little spats, but I want to do them longer.
yeah. So for
Yeah.
me, my home base, I want to have three home bases. One in, of course, families in Toronto, Canada. I want to have a base in Asia, which is Kuala Lumpur. I want to have a base in Europe, which will be either in the south of Italy, south of France, where I grew up, the south of Spain or Portugal, and one in the Americas, probably in Argentina or Brazil. And then go there every 3 months, just chasing the summer and spending the summers back home in Toronto because it's gorgeous in the summer. It's similar to New York, long days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it's not a far-fetched dream, because as long as you're able to make money online, you know, and
Exactly.
and the beautiful thing is, for what you're spending just for your rent right now in the US and Canada, that can cover all of your expenses. Like when I was living I went back to Canada last year in April for 2 months, and mind you, I was still living with family. They were gracious enough, but I was still
Yeah.
spending $4,000 to $5,000 a month without leaving the house, without
Yeah.
forget about eating out. Whereas here in this building in Malaysia, I was living my best life without looking at cost or anything for $2,000 a month. Right now in Vietnam on the beach, I'm renting a studio, big enough, 10-minute walk from the beach, very friendly people, everything I want. Are you ready? $231 a month.
Wow.
I am struggling to spend 1,000 Canadian a month, which is 750 US. I would have to literally be making it rain every day to go over $1,000. The ATM machine has a limit of 3 million dong, which might sound a lot, but it's actually 121 to 23 US dollars. That covers all my meals. I eat out all the time, coffee, drink sometimes, for 7 to 10 days. So basically
Wow.
$120. In Toronto, even a pizza and a beer is going to cost you $50.
Yeah.
I don't know about New York.
It's gone
Yeah.
outrageous here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just about saving a buck, but it's about drastically elevating the quality of your lifestyle. When you go from the stress and pressure to generate at least $10,000 just to keep going, just to have to pay your mortgage and all that, whereas you come here in a place like Asia or South America or whatever, where for $1,000 to $3,000, you're good to go. You're living really well. It removes all the stress from you. You can really focus on what really makes your heart sing. You can be so much more productive. I've never felt so much alive here. In
Yeah.
Toronto, outside of the summer, you can't even pay me to get out of the house. Mind you, it's freezing half of the year, but here, I go long walks on the beach. Like my schedule here, I wake up at 6 o'clock. I work until 12, which is midnight on the East Coast in the US. I go for a walk on the beach, go for a nice swim, a coffee, whatever. Sometimes I bring my laptop by the beach, work there, and I come back. That's what, allows you to do here, because again, it's not just about the cost of living, but the vibe,
Yeah.
the stress-free living. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine. Life is so easy here, so fun. And this is what a lot of people don't know, because they've been conditioned to believe, hey, live where you're born, and you have to play by the rule that everybody's playing. Get a bigger house every year, a bigger car every year, and just be a slave to the system. No, you don't have to play that game.
Yeah. I live a pretty simple life and it's still
Yeah.
expensive.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. But that's why I just want to travel. And I moved recently to a townhouse just so I could lock the door and leave. But I think I'll always have a home base because
Hmm.
it just makes sense for me.
Yeah. Come
But
to Asia. Come to Malaysia. You will not want to
I
live.
think I'd like after you told me that, I was like, oh my God, there's
Hey, go
another
on
one on my
YouTube,
bucket.
search for videos on living in Kuala Lumpur, lifestyle, cost of living, the food. If you're a foodie, you will fall in love with it.
I am.
Women love shopping. Oh, speaking of shopping, here in Vietnam, there's this little town called Hoi An, HOI space AN. You can get custom made anything you want. A suit for $80, custom made. You can get. I got a pair of custom made, handmade leather shoes for $40.
Oh my goodness.
So when you come to Asia, just bring a backpack, your laptop,
Big,
your
a
passport, your
big
wallet.
suitcase.
That's all you. No, 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 no. You don't need to bring anything. Seriously, that's a lot cheaper for you to buy here.
Yeah, I'll buy it all there and ship it back. But I guess I could buy the suitcase there too.
Just to carry on, even just your laptop, your purse.
Yeah.
When I was growing up in France, there was a TV show that was saying about traveling. It is just bring your passport and a toothbrush. That's all you need.
That's beautiful. So I have learned that when I just went to Italy for 10 days and all I did was a carry-on.
Yeah,
Like I had nothing.
that's it.
I had nothing. And I was like, this is the best way I have ever traveled. Best. And I was like, I just packed, everything was black. It was like I was like, this was amazing.
Yeah,
And then when I jumped trains, because I toured and did things, I just had this little bag.
you don't have to wait for the
It
bag. You
was
don't have to check in stuff.
so,
No, it's so
I
much
didn't have to
fun.
check anything. I could fly, I
Yeah,
could jump on trains, and I was like, I'm traveling like this I'm not like a big shopper and stuff person. So it worked for me. So the
come on
only trouble I
over.
have is I only speak English.
That's it. That's all
Um,
you need. But you know what? Doesn't matter where people are. And I've been blessed to have lived in 14 countries, 4 continents. You don't need to speak the language. People will see your vibe. They will see your body language, your facial expressions. People are the same everywhere. As long as you're polite, respectful to people, even if you don't speak
yeah.
the language, they will project the same to you. Like I don't speak a lick of Vietnamese. Sure, I learned 2 words since I've been here, but most of the time, people are patient. People are friendly. As long as you're friendly as well. People are
How
people
did you
everywhere.
pick there?
Vietnam.
Yeah.
I've been a nomad. I've been based in Asia for the past 10 years, and I've always heard good things about Vietnam. And finally, the stars aligned. And I said, let me go to Vietnam. But I didn't want to go to massive, big city because it's crazy and all that. I picked a beach town called Da Nang. Absolutely amazing. Very relaxed, very chill. And it's very hard to leave this place, especially right now. The rainy season is over. It's beautiful every day. It's getting warm and all nice.
Nice.
Check some of my stories on Instagram or on Facebook. This place is a dream. I
I'll
mean,
have to look, and I would love their food too.
oh, the food is very healthy.
Oh
If
my
you're a
goodness, I
foodie,
would love their
I
food.
would recommend more Kuala Lumpur, because Kuala Lumpur is a massive metropolis, but still it's safe. People speak English. It's extremely developed. In some ways, honest to God, it would make even New York City or Toronto look like third world city. It's that advanced, that clean, that beautiful. That's a misconception that people think Asia is third world, is full of rice fields and shacks. No, and a lot of places in big cities, they would make Toronto, New York, all the big cities look like third world. And I've been living in Asia for 10 years, so I'm not pulling this out of
Wow.
the air. It's incredible. It's incredible. Come on over. And for me, the most important thing was and is, especially at where I'm now, it's all about safety. And unfortunately, the big cities in North America and the Western world, they're not as safe as it used to be.
Yes.
Like I haven't been to Toronto proper. We live in a small town outside of Toronto. I haven't been to Toronto in years. The only time I go is just in a car when we go to visit relatives. But I don't go because the streets are not safe anymore.
Really? I didn't know
Yes,
that.
downtown Toronto, full of druggies and random attacks and nonsense, just like
Yeah.
most places. But in here, honest to God, knock on wood, safety is a non-issue.
Yeah. New York has changed as well.
Oh, Toronto too, yeah.
I haven't been back to New York since COVID hit because it changed so much.
Yeah.
I don't go
So,
back.
so yeah, as long as you're able to make money online, and the beautiful thing is, I'm living honestly my best in Malaysia on $2,000 a month. Here in Vietnam, again, I have a hard time spending over 1,000 Canadian, which is 750 US. But if you want to spend a little bit more, you can live very well. Like I was just looking for a place. I saw brand spanking new penthouse with a massive living room, brand new kitchen with an island and all that, everything new, big bedroom, but in a massive terrace for 500 US a month. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to take it. I was looking for it around around Christmas, but they said it's not going to be available until mid-January. Said, oh shoot, otherwise I would have taken it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The place you see behind me, the swimming pool. I stayed in this place for 6 months. Airbnb, one bedroom, fully furnished, all utilities included, once or twice a week, maid service, $850 a month. Airbnb, month to month.
Wow.
If you were to sign, I actually went to the lobby of this building, talked to the management. Is that if I were to sign a 6-month or 12-month contract, that would literally be 400 to 450 a month.
It's incredible.
Seriously, again, it's not about saving a buck. Yes, that helps. It removes the stress from you, but it's about drastically elevating the quality of lifestyle. A building like this in Toronto, first of all, you can't find a swimming pool like this in Toronto with this skylight. And if you were to
Yeah.
find it, it will be at least 7,000-8,000 a month.
Oh, yeah. Like New York is ridiculous.
Forget
Yeah,
about
you couldn't even do that in New York. Yeah.
unless you're some big shots from
Same.
Wall Street, you know?
Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, guys, this is one thing that I'm really passionate this year is to inspire as many people as possible. Actually, I have 2 friends that I met through my podcast. Do you know, I'm not going to say their name, but I will tell after. One is actually moving from Australia at the end of February to Kuala Lumpur. Another one, a lady from Portland on the West Coast. She said, her lease is over in May. And I said, well, the stars are aligning. Come on over. I said, yes.
Well, if you're getting a whole community together, I might go.
I want to build my own dream community around me in beautiful Malaysia, you know? Or at least in Asia. Every 3 months, go to a different city, you know?
Yeah.
This is it. I want to create my own dream team.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
This is my way of dream developer, you know? If I may use your expression, your tagline.
I love it. I
Awesome,
love
my
it.
friend. Listen, we can talk for hours, and it's been an hour of beautiful conversation. If someone wants to talk, to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
The best thing to do is really to go to my website, soul professional.com. There's contact forms. You can talk to me. You can get in touch with me. I see everything that goes through. You can come to my free networking, my free master classes. I have so many free things, and just come see if it's a good fit for you.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll put
Yeah.
all that in the show notes. Listen, Camille, absolutely love talking to you. Love your passion, your wisdom, and all that. Your drive. Keep shining your light. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep blessing the world, your presence, your impact with everything you're doing. And stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you. And talk soon. And hopefully in 2024, we'll meet in beautiful Malaysia sometimes. Who
I would
knows?
love that.
Put
I
it out
love
there.
that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care, my friend. Cheers.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.